sinking ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said take us on a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship. All you gotta do is join our trip. There isn't any cost of membership. All the sailors here are really hip. I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard our trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it up on the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Sailors. Boy, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. Just when I think I've got everything dialed in and perfect, I find out that it isn't. Let me make some adjustments here on my screen for you and me. Let's see. Put that way down there. I'm going to put this down here. Is my speaking voice like super loud? Am I blowing your eardrums? Oh, audio is blown out. Blown out. Bad audio, so. Is that any better? Can you hear me now? Is the audio hot now? Sounds like gain. Oh, I've got plenty more to give. I just don't want it to be blown out sounding. Can you hear me okay now? Better. Much better. Okay, there was a button. This all stems from a different problem I was having. Much better. 7x7 even. Thank you, Val. That is good as gold. That's what I was hoping to hear. 5x5. Let's see what they're saying over in, what are they saying over here? Okay, hot Mike says Prairie Fire. Now it's 5x5. Way better. So, thank you for your help. I greatly appreciate it. For the last few weeks, just in the way it works over at the show that Sandra and I put together every week, the Foxhole Squares, every week when I call into my Zoom, everyone is saying, Zoe, I can't hear you. You're so low. And I noticed it in watching the playback. I'm like, everybody's mics are like up here and you can just barely hear me. Now, as you know, I recently went through, Audio Armageddon on this channel, and I finally got everything set perfectly. I took pictures of it. I don't know where my phones are, but I took pictures of it to ensure that I never lose these settings again. But I couldn't understand why, when I was on a Zoom call, why my audio was so low. Now, I've got a couple different settings on my board. Not only do I have the slide, right? I can raise and lower my voice right here, very simply, right here. But there's also another gain at the top. And I remembered that I had cranked the devil out of that thing to try to give myself some more volume during our Zoom call. Well, Sandra and I were doing a Zoom last night in our weekly pre-production meeting for the show. And I went into my Zoom settings, and son of a gun, the mic setting was like at 20%. So I boosted it up. She's like, my God, I can hear you now. So I forgot that I needed to turn my gain down. So I'm keeping an eye on my VUs. They should be just barely tickling the red. I learned that from years of recording people in Hollywood, and it looks like I'm right there. Is it sounding okay? It's still a bit overmodulated. No, that's fine. This is exactly why I'm asking. I can turn it down. You are absolutely right. I want it to be absolutely perfect. So I have just dialed it down some more. And there it is. Dialed. It is hereby dialed down. I am speaking loudly, and I'm not even getting close to hitting the VU reds. So it should be good. I'm so pleased to have you aboard this evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you all aboard the Mystery Ship. I hope you had a lovely week. I really hope you've had a lovely week. It's been a really, really challenging week for your old brother Zoe. One of those weeks where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I mean, just getting pulled in 100 directions at once, which really, Rick Carmen, you're very funny. Oh man, you know what? I lost my train of thought. The first thing I do here, the very first thing that I do on the Mystery Ship, is I greet my sailors. Let's greet the sailors this evening. Let's look right over here at no further than pilled.net, the home of free speech in America. There is no shortage of wonderful speakers here. Look at them. Trick Pony, Safety Net. My voice needs no augmentation, she says. Thank you kindly. That goes a long way. Spazzo Yeti in the house. Spaz is going to be an upcoming guest. On the Foxhole Squares. I'm very excited about. We are booked clear into May. We have got our stars booked all the way into May. We got some new and exciting people coming. We've got some reruns from the shows when we were still kind of figuring our way. So now I'm happy. Now I'm very happy. M1911 Zoom in the house. Prairie Fire is with us. Safety Net. Who else? I saw some others. Yes, Due Diligence in the house. Man. Wow. Very good to see all of you wonderful people. Stacks, and Salty Nuts. All of them here together. Trick Pony. Wonderful to see you. Hope you're doing wonderfully. We are live over at Rumble right now, and I'm seeing bodies. There are bodies live there in Rumble. That is so nice to know. So nice to know. I hope all those bodies over at Rumble are doing well. It's my pleasure to welcome you aboard the Mystery Ship. Thanks for being here, my friends. 5 of you. over in YouTube land. G-Gab was the first one in the door. G-Gab 63, good to see you. Our Charlie is here. Our Charlie, hope everything is good. Never Jabber. Yeah, I'm high as eagle balls myself. higher than giraffe pussy, aren't you? I have a few things to ask you about tonight, people. We're going to be all over the place tonight. I'm tickled pink to have you here. So we're good at Pilled. We're good over at YouTube. We're good at Rumble. We are good at D Live, where there's a wonderful, wonderful group of people gathering right there. Lynn Winters in the house. Rick Carmen, Bad Zoot, Val Kimber, TL Spud, Mad Pogue, Willie Fix It. I'm telling you, this is it's the cream of the crop right here. Artist 61 in the house. Did I see Syllabore? Did I see Silly? I thought I did see Silly. I did. See Silly Run. Do you guys remember your first grade reading books? Did you have... Okay, put in... I want to... This, now I'm really going to date... Now I'm going to date myself. I'm going to date myself. When I was in the first grade in 1965, and I was being taught how to read, it was Dick and Jane. See Dick run. See Jane run. And they had, Dick and Jane had a dog named Spot. If you had Dick and Jane in your first grade reader, please put an X in the chat. Let me know if I'm alone, or did you learn how to read with Dick and Jane? I would love to know that. Dick and Jane, anybody? Dick, Jane, and Sally, says Bad Zoot. See Jane run. Yes, Lynn Winters had Dick and Jane. Rick Carmen had Dick and Jane. How about them apples? How about them apples? I wonder what kids read to today. You know, probably Thor and Zelda. See Zelda with her nose ring. See Thor with his blue hair. Who knows? Who knows what kids are reading? I'm fascinated. I would like to find a first grade reading book and see what it is how they're teaching kids to read these days, because the nuns back in my day, man, we had the alphabet all around the room, and one by one, Sister Reparata, that was my teacher in the first grade, Sister Reparata would point out to a letter of the alphabet, like E. I can remember this as plain as the nose on my face. She would say, that's the letter E. And we had to learn how to write in we didn't call it cursive, we called it longhand. Longhand or printing. I don't know where this cursive crap came from, but it was called longhand when I was a kid. And she would always give us an example of what the letter sounded like. So for E, she said, E sounds like eh. She goes, picture a deaf old man with his hand to his ear going, eh. And what I find so amusing about that is that's me today. I'm a deaf old man on the job going, huh? What? Huh? Yeah. Yes. Yes. We're going to be talking about getting high tonight, but in a different way. Spurred on by a conversation I had with a friend last night. I'm interested. I'm interested in what you guys remember about being told about pot and things like drugs. I'm fascinated. I can't wait to learn your memories, because I remember mine. but I want to know what yours are. I grew up in an era, so I grew up, imagine this. I am a young child. I am in my formative years in the 1960s, okay? The 1960s when you have a president shot, his brother shot, Malcolm X gets shot, Dr. Martin Luther King gets shot. All these figures getting mowed down, upheaval. You got anti-war protesters. You got people growing their hair long for the first time and revolting. Actually, just saying we don't approve of the societal norms that our parents approved of. I don't want to be like them. I want to be something completely different. And now for something completely different. Times were really unusual. I was honestly, I was too young to appreciate it, but as I've gotten older, I've realized what it was that I lived through. Had I been, I'm not kidding you, had I been born 10 years earlier, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And that's a fact. Crazy to think that, but we didn't talk about pot and dope openly in the circles that I was in. About the first time I remember my dad talking about pot and dope per se was probably when I was like 10. And he alluded that it was, that's what the hippies do. The hippies just get high all day. They smoke their pot and they're a waste of life. They grow their beards and their long hair. And my dad was not a big fan of beards. Solid 1940s thinking. I'm telling you. Yeah. Big time. Big time. And in fact, during the whole late 60s, early 70s thing, when I was sort of like coming of age and realizing, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of how the world works, I hit my teens in the early 70s and, got my driver's license in 1975. Yes, I got my driver's license in 1975. That's why I bought a 75 Lincoln. That was the year I got my license. Just seeing people, watching the world change before my very eyes was really was something to behold. Those times I don't think will ever be repeated. It's weird to think about it now in retrospect because I kind of took it for granted. I took it for granted. But my uncle came home on a short leave from Vietnam and spent some time with us. He spent about a month with us. And this guy was shell-shocked, okay? This guy, his best friend, died in a foxhole right next to him. He was held behind enemy lines for 40 days. 40 days. Until the U.S. troops regained the ground and he could crawl out of his foxhole and point down at the hole and show him where his dead friend was. Just the shit that went on during that time. I don't know if we really give it enough credence for what actually went down in those times. It's crazy. I like to spend a lot of time every Saturday reliving the music of that era. There was some of the greatest music in the world going on in this late 60s, early 70s. Absolutely my favorite freaking music of all time. But I appreciate more modern things too. I lived through a number of eras. I lived through disco. I lived through punk. I lived through new wave, all that crap. But getting high, the art of getting high, man, that was something that my dad couldn't. I don't think he would approve. I really don't think he would approve of if he knew of all the things that I did and lived through. Right under his nose. Right under his nose. What the hell is that? I have to open something up. I don't know what it is. It's scaring me. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, that's good. That's good. I thought it was something scary. How can you, all right. I want to see how many of my 60s hippies immediately recognize this. I want to see who the first person is to put this television show. If you recognize what this is, put it in the chat. Are you ready? In 3? Are you ready for this? This is a quiz. In 3, 2, 1, go. Tell me what show this is or who this is. Tell me. Tell me. Who is it? Who is it? How dare you? How dare you? Spud nailed it. Spud nailed it with the laugh-in. It's not Judy Carden. It's actually Goldie Hawn. It is Goldie. I think she was 21. 21 in this photo, in this little video. Crazy. Crazy times. I remember vividly Monday nights gathered around the television set with my mom and dad and my brother and sister watching Laugh-In. It was a crazy show. We did an entire show on Laugh-In, and I got popped for it. I can't believe it. Anyway, tonight is going to be a bit of remembering. You know, they say if you can remember it, you weren't really there. I can remember it just because I am a person with an uncanny memory. I mean, I can remember things that when I relay them to my mom, she cannot believe that I can remember things clearly back to when I was 3 and 4 years old. And I'll describe something to her, and she'll say, "Albert, how can you possibly remember that? That was 1962. You were 3 years old." Mom, I don't know what to tell you. I can draw you a picture right now. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's cool. All right. We're going to take a very short break here, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to have a great show. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and a lot of poking into the corners of your mind. I'm going to ask you to reach back into the gray matter and pull things out that you've probably forgotten. I'm depending on you. I'm depending on you to be a big part of this. Okay? So, volume is up. This is good. All right. I'm going to play a short video, and I will see you on the other side of this. This is your chance to refill your drink. Refill that drink of yours. Just like this. Just like this. Or do that voodoo that you do. Take a leak. Take the dog outside. Do whatever you have to do. But you have a minute and 16. A minute and 16, which is going to allow me to move a couple videos around here. Okay. We'll see you on the other side of this, my friends. Thank you for being aboard the Mystery Ship this wonderful Friday, the 25th of April, 2025.
Hello, Foxhole. How y'all doing, fam? Good to see you. Hanging out with Zoso, dude. You know who he is. You wouldn't be seeing this right now. So, cheers to you, my friends. Uncle Krusty says hello. Peace out.
Hi, this is Judy the Lady Pug, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude.
This is Tanette Booth, and you are watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude.
This is Salty and Nuts, and you're watching Zoso Dude on The Mystery Ship.
This is a biblicist, and most likely you're going to hell, but not if you watch The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude.
Right. This is Ryan, our Cloaked Unseen World, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude.
Hey, this is Leonard with The Shit Show, and you're watching The Mystery Ship and Zozo Dude 77. Enjoy.
I don't know.
This is Sheree Maddox from LJ, Georgia, and you're on The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude 77.
Hi, everybody. This is Vicki Holyfield, and you are watching Zozo Dude 77 on The Mystery Ship.
This is Friendly Gator from St. Petersburg, Florida, and you're on board The Mystery Ship with Zozo Dude 77.
Hi, it's Jo Elaine, and we're watching The Mystery Ship with Zozo Dude.
This is Gloria Power. You're watching The Mystery Ship with Zozo Dude 77.
Hey guys, this is Bruce Q. Wayne, aka the Batman from Three Beermen, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with our good captain, Zoso Dude.
This is Andy Girl 13, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zozo Dude.
Hi, this is Susan Danielle, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude 77.
This is your brother Belushi, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude 77.
Hi, this is Carrie Lake from St. Pete, Florida, and you're watching Zoso Dude 77, The Mystery Ship.
You're hanging out on The Mystery Ship with our captain, the Zoso Dude.
Hey, it's M1911 Zoom, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude.
I'm Neoma.
And I'm Neo. And you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude 77.
I'm EO2 Dave, and you're watching Zoso Dude 77 on The Mystery Ship.
This is Barefoot Patriotess from Tampa, Florida, and you're watching The Mystery Ship with Zoso Dude 77.
This is Rob, a.k.a. Syllabore, and you are watching Zoso Dude 77 on The Mystery Ship.
Welcome aboard The Mystery Ship, where we go one, we go all!
I like to dig those out every now and then. They just take me back on a trip that I haven't seen in some time. I remember all of those, meeting up with all of those wonderful folks. A couple of those were sent to me. Syllabore sent me his, and I really think the rest of them I filmed. And it just takes me back to the moment. The moment. Speaking of the moment, I remember the moment my dad talked to me about pot, okay? I was told that drugs would ruin a person. When I went to school, in my health class in 1973, they played a film. They played a film in my health class. It was called Reefer Madness. It was a 1930s film. I'm sure you've heard of it, right? Who hasn't heard of Reefer Madness, right? And it talked about pot and how horrible pot was. This terrible, terrible thing called marijuana. It was a very short time later. I was 14 when I was over at a friend's house, and he said, "Hey man, you want to get high?" And I'm like, "You mean smoke pot?" I was 14, and I was like, "Wow, this is it. Am I really going to do this?" And, all I could think of were the movies that they showed us, right? How I was going to be, I was expecting this Jekyll Hyde experience. I thought I was going to smoke pot and then be forever changed. I sat there with the pipe in my hand, really thinking about the moment. Do I want to do this? Do I really want to do this? And my friend, come on, hits me on the shoulder. Come on, dude, take a hit. And the first time I hit it, I just blew it out of me. He goes, no, not like that. You got to hold it in your lungs. That's what increases the sensation. Oh, okay. Well, let me try that again. And I remember it. I remember it clearly. I didn't really get that high the first time I smoked pot. I just kind of thought, what's the big deal? Did anybody else, I need to know this for my own personal curiosity, did anybody else, were you sort of let down the first time you smoked pot? Did anybody else say to themselves, what's the big deal? What's all the fuss about? I wasn't afraid. So the next time I smoked pot, I was hitchhiking into town. We lived about, I want to say 5 miles, maybe 4 miles from beautiful downtown Fallbrook, California, which at the time in 1973, Fallbrook had one stoplight. Now, I don't know what you know about Fallbrook, California, but in the early 70s, it was the avocado capital of the world. There was nothing but avocado groves down there. Tons of empty acreage, and a teeny tiny little one-lane airport for just little Piper Cubs and stuff like that, and really not much of a. The town was like one lane. It went all the way through town, and then you made a right turn on Alvarado Street, and that was like the last little bit of what we called town. But I hitchhiked into town, and the guy riding along offered me a water pipe. He goes, "Here, man." And so now I'm all cool. I know how to do this, right? So I'm taking a hit, thinking, this time I got stoned. That time I definitely remember feeling, wow, that's really different. And I remember wandering through town. I think when I got there, I wondered, I wondered why I was there. I was so into being stoned that I couldn't remember what the reason was that I had hitchhiked into town in the first place for. So I had eventually just hitchhiked back home, and it was weird. So it was so easy to get a ride back then. People were so much more open to just picking up a stranger little especially a 14, 15-year-old kid with his thumb out. I mean, what is that, something to worry about? No, it wasn't. Hitchhiking was just something that people did all the time. Then I got together with a group of guys and started playing in what was my very first band. And we smoked pot all the time, every day after school. There were certain guys that we would buy pot from. And when I say buy pot, I'm talking $5 worth, okay? I mean, we're in 9th and 10th grade. So we're not dealing in lids, all right? And I remember the first time I saw a lid, I'm like, wow, that's the most pot I've ever seen. And back in the days I'm talking about now, the pot that we had was I mean, we called it dirtweed. It was Colombian. It was brown. It was dark brown and had tons of stems and seeds. And it was filthy. It was nasty. There weren't buds per se. It was just a bunch of garbage in a bag, and it was brown. And you would bitch if you spent $10 for a 3.5 finger lid, 3.5 fingers in a baggie, kind of somewhat flattened out, but that was the going rate. $10 for a 3-finger lid. That was you took an album cover and you poured the whole bag on it, and you picked out all the stems, and then you took it and you shook it back and forth, and all the seeds would roll out of it down onto the carpet. And then you took what was left and you ground it up with your fingers. You just ground it, so you could roll a doobie out of it. And I don't know, doobies were the way we smoked pot. That was just the way everybody smoked pot back in my day. Rolling papers, we didn't have anything as exorbitant as these red, white, and blue rolling papers like they have today. USA flag rolling papers. I don't even know why I have this. I don't smoke pot. It's kind of funny. But what I do remember, and I remember this lividly, is this next time that my dad started talking about pot. And I don't know what brought it up or whatever the deal was, but here he is, demeaning it and saying it's, of the devil and all these things, and how worthless stoners were. And I'm thinking to myself, man, if he only knew. And one of the coolest things was I lived like a quarter of a mile from the high school that I went to. It was a very quick 5-minute walk. And I'm in the country, mind you, okay? So we didn't walk down and take the roads. I mean, we could, and we did many times. But for me, I went through my neighbor's horse field. I went through his field, cut through an avocado grove, made a left, went down through another grove. What were they? They were not oranges. They were Tangelo Grove. Fallbrook. Fallbrook had 3 growing seasons. It's pretty much 70 degrees year-round in Fallbrook, California. It was when I was a kid. And so, I could walk to school very, very effortlessly with my skateboard. And me and my buddies that I played in the band with, I also played football. We were all on the football team, and we did all the same shit. We surfed together. There was 4 of us. We were the fearsome foursome. My friend Kurt, my friend Paul, my friend Gordon, and me. And the 4 of us were like inseparable. We did everything together. And smoking pot was no exception. We got stoned all the time. And I remember taking Kurt's mom. Kurt's mom was a lovely lady, lovely, very, very, very pretty lady. I would say nowadays, she's deceased, so, I don't want to say anything bad about the dead. And I know he's not watching, so I would say that Mrs. Barnes didn't have a whole lot upstairs, but she was a very good-looking lady, and I'm sure that kept Mr. Barnes happy. He didn't have any problem getting his way in that house. So she had plants all over the place. Plants were a big thing in the early 70s. Everybody had plants all through their house, hanging plants and on macrame and all these weird, it was the 70s, man, the early 70s. I took the cap off of a Bic pen because it was the perfect size, that long little spike. Remember a Bic pen from back in the day? And I took a bag of seeds and I went around to all of Mrs. Barnes' plants throughout her house, and I just poked a little hole in the dirt and dropped a couple pills in there and pushed it down with my finger, and it wasn't 3 weeks later we were in Kurt's house one day, and we were stoned, and Mrs. Barnes was oblivious. She had no idea that we were stoned. She just thought we were goofy kids, and we were goofy kids. But she's going around with her little watering pail all throughout the house, and she goes, I don't know what these things are. They're popping up all over the house. And I looked over and I see that she's admiring all the little pot plants that are now growing all throughout her house. And I said, "Oh, Mrs. Barnes, those are good luck. Those are Hungarian ferns." And of course, my friend Kurt and Gordon thought this was the funniest thing they'd ever heard, and they laughing uncontrollably. And Mrs. Barnes nurtured those plants. She grew the crap out of them till the point where they got a little too big and a little too noticeable, and Mr. Barnes took note of them. And one day he came to us, and we transferred the very biggest ones outside into, remember milk cartons used to be, wax milk cartons? That was the only way you bought milk back then, was a waxed milk carton. And so we would cut the top off with a pair of scissors, throw some dirt in there, and transplant these. So we had a whole bunch of them growing on the back fence, on the other side of the back fence of Mr. Barnes' property. And one day he ventured back there. And what did he find but about 40 plants that are, by now they're getting onwards of 2 feet tall. And Mr. Barnes, I remember him saying, "Boys, I need to have a talk with you." And I'm thinking, oh no. He leads, when he starts leading us towards the back gate, I knew that he had discovered them. And I thought to myself, is he going to tell my dad? That's the first thing that went through my mind. Is he going to tell my dad? My dad would have whipped my ass. Oh my God, my dad would have whipped my ass. But that's not what Mr. Barnes said. Mr. Barnes, in fact, said, I can't really say I condone this, but I'll tell you this much. You can run into some bad people out there buying this stuff. Really bad people. So I know if I tell you not to smoke this, it's just going to make you smoke it all the more. So I'm going to let you make up your own minds with this. But all I can say is I'd rather have you growing it yourself than buying it from some of the bad people out there. And I thought, wow, that is the most forward-thinking dad I've ever. I mean, if my dad was to say something, I'd have fallen over. I wouldn't have believed it. Holy smokes! Holy smokes! Golden Crisp, thank you, darling. Holy smokes, Golden Crisp, twice now. Thank you so very much for your support of this program. I freaking love you, sister. You are amazing. I very, very, very much appreciate you. Thank you. Wow. Golden Crisp has done what she always does. She sneaks in every now and then when nobody's looking and just spills gold pills everywhere. They're in every nook and cranny of the mystery ship right now. So I realized, it wasn't until years later that I realized the reason Mr. Barnes probably didn't have any problem with us growing all these plants is he was helping himself. I'm sure that Mr. Barnes was twisting a tube or two when Mrs. Barnes wasn't looking. Can I prove it? No. But I just have the funniest feeling that Mr. Barnes probably took advantage of the fact that his son and his son's teenage friends were growing pot on the backside of the fence in the backyard. I just have a funny feeling. There's a couple of things, big-time things I wanted to say. Okay, so my uncle came to visit, and he would walk with us over to the high school, and we would all take turns riding skateboards. There were all these really cool, places to ride back then. And my uncle was my mom's very youngest brother, so he was only like 11 years older than me. So if I'm 15, he's 26. He came out to visit. He spent like a week with us, and it was great. I mean, we had so much fun. First of all, he played the drums, and he played the drums really good. So he jammed with us, and we, oh my God, it was awesome to have a real drummer jamming with us. That was the coolest part. But one night, I'm with my uncle, and we pull into a country version of a 7-Eleven. It was called a Circle K. You only find those things in hillbilly towns, but we had Circle K. And he goes, wait here in the car. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, wait here in the car. I'm like, all right. So he's in there, and he's milling around. And I'm waiting there 3-4 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell's taking him so long? So about I finally, my curiosity gets piqued, and I walk inside, and I see my uncle at the counter, and in front of him, that he's pulling out his money for, is a pack of zigzags. A pack of zigzags on the counter. And he sees me, and he very quickly pushes the zigzags away from him and grabs a comb, a little plastic comb that you used to keep in your back pocket, the guys who remember, the Brill Cream days. He puts that on the counter, and the guy says, that's it? That's all you want? He goes, yeah, man, just the comb. And so I watched this thing go down, and we get back in the car, and we're driving along, and it was just me and my uncle. And I said, hey, Unc, were those your rolling papers? And he kind of looked at me with the funniest look, and I said, dude, I don't care. I said, I smoke pot. And he's like, what? And I said, yeah, I got rolling papers if you need them. I got some at the house. And he goes, well, I think he was really surprised that I was smoking pot at 15. And, we got stoned together and rode skateboards together. And, Golden Crisp, look at you. Are you stoned? Are you stoned right now? Asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. So it was really cool. There was a place in town that sold skateboard parts, and we used to make our own skateboards back then. And those plastic things that go in office furniture where they underneath a chair like this, underneath an office chair, when you have a carpet, chairs don't roll around that easy, so they make these little plastic things. They're about 4 feet by 5 feet, and they're about a 1/4 inch thick. And you put them down, and that way you can roll your chair around. You can get over to the credenza, you can get over to your file cabinet and turn around in circles and that kind of thing. My dad had brought one home, and so I took I took my dad's jigsaw out, and I made a skateboard out of this flexible plastic. Now, I had to make it 2 layers thick, but, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I invented the flexible board. We're talking years ahead of my... And, when you would pedal on it, especially goofy, I was goofy foot. So when you would be... The thing would flex and flex and flex, and my friends thought it was really cool because I could twist it this way and that way, and oh man, everybody wanted to try my board. Everybody wanted, and my uncle bought parts, and we made him the most badass freaking skateboard you ever saw. And he was out there skating with us. He had the most bitchin' try. He could afford the good stuff, so we set him up, and we were getting stoned together. It was cool. Now, it was a short while after this. I want to say no more than 1975. We used to go out in the summers. In the summers, there was this place. I remember the name of it. It was called Butterfield Country, and it was a up and coming community of homes, kind of away from the city. Not that Fallbrook was a city, but just kind of tucked away, this private little community, and mostly like horse property, like 5-acre parcels. And believe me, those back in the early 70s, in Temecula and Fallbrook and all the surrounding areas there, you could get land for $1 an acre. That's how, there was nothing out there but tumbleweeds. And my dad, I remember this plain as day. He's going, Alice, look at this. He goes, I'm not rich, but I could buy hundreds and hundreds of acres right now for $1 an acre. Oh my God, I wish he had, because Temecula, which was a one-horse town. There were 3 buildings. There were 3 buildings in all of Temecula in 1973. One of the companies was my dad's company, Borg Warner. There was a tiny little row with a place called the Swing Inn Cafe. It's now known as Old Town, and Temecula has exploded into this very, very desirable. They have some of the best schools in California and all. I wish to God my dad had spent every last extra dollar he had on property in Temecula, because we'd be millionaires right now. Millionaires. I'll never forget it. But we would go out to this place called Butterfield Country, where they were building more exclusive and larger homes with pools and, ranch properties. You had a barn in the back for your horses, and very, very popular with families with teenage girls, and they had a community center down there, which is the exact reason why we would ride out there as 16-year-old boys with our long surfer hair and puka shell necklaces and go out to meet the country girls. This is the first time that I was introduced to angel dust. Angel dust. I had never been that high in all of my life. And this just shows how naive I was. I thought that angel dust was just a really special kind of weed. I did. I thought that this was just some kind of ass-kicking weed. I mean, back in those days, we would get issues of High Times magazines, and just like in Playboy magazine, where there would be a centerfold, of a gorgeous woman with, well-endowed, gorgeous woman. The High Times magazine had a centerfold, and it would be these big, giant buds with like red hairs on them, and this I swear, this is one of the funniest. I think I've shared this before, but it bears. It deserves repeating. It deserves repeating. So, this red-haired weed, okay? Little red hairs on the buds. Man, when I first got a look at that stuff, I was like, wow, what the hell is this? This is not that brown dirt Mexican stuff that we have been smoking. What is this red-haired stuff? And it was really expensive. And when I say really expensive, I mean it was like $10 for just one bud about that big, but it had this red hair, and when you would squeeze it with your hands, it would stick. It was so sticky and gooey, it would stick to the bottom of your fingers. And then, 1975, red hair. Like, what the hell is this stuff? So the guy who introduced me to red hair was probably 2-3 years older. He was probably 18, and he brought. It just shows young people and their ignorance. Okay, so the Mexican word sensimilla. Okay, sensimilla means without seeds. That's what it means, without seed. And this guy kept calling this weed San Simeon. San Simeon. And I thought it came from a town in California called San Simeon. That's what I thought. I mean, it just shows how freaking ignorant I was, but I was like going around to my friends. I'm like, dude, have you tried the San Simeon yet, man? Everybody's talking about it, the San Simeon. Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me to relay these stories, but it really happened, or what the heck. I'm an open book. I'm not pretending to be anything I'm not. By this time, my friends and I were now, we were getting stoned. We lived for getting stoned, okay? We were buying Visine, and every single night on the way home from my friend's house, walking home from my buddy's house back to my house in time for dinner, where my mom and dad and my brother and sister and I sat in the same seats every night, and we waited until Dad got home for us to have dinner. I would be pouring the Visine in my eye, and the whole thing. Gotta maintain, man. Gotta maintain. I had to remember to open my eyes. So I would sit at the dinner table, like, forcibly opening my eyes, because I was just so used to being China-eyed all the time. Crazy. It was crazy. But from there, my family moved back to Los Angeles. And when I moved back to Los Angeles, I've told you this story before. I begged my dad to please don't make me go back to the all-boy Catholic school. Dad, I've got 2 lousy years of freaking high school left. I want to meet some chicks. Can I please go to the public school? And he let me. And this is where the drugs really came on in my life. For 11th and 12th grade, I was stoned all day, every day that I can remember. And if I didn't have an eighth, I was trying to figure out how to get one. Sometimes I could I could buy some from this guy. He would front it to me, and I could sell one, and then I would get mine for free. So, I'd get a half ounce fronted to me. I would sell 3/8, and then mine didn't cost me anything. And I got pretty good at that. It's kind of funny. To a strange degree, I'm still doing that now, except I don't benefit from it. I've got some friends who are growers, and I mean big time growers, and I help my buddies out when they need a little something. Hey Zoe, can you hook me up? And I'm happy to do it. I mean, it's good for my buddies, the growers, and it's good for my buddies, the recipients on the other end. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I just so back to the pot now. Back to the pot. By this time, okay, by 1976, 1977, we're all done with the dirt weed. We're only smoking this. Now what I learned was sensimilla. And it was, of course, now you got to learn your real terms, right? Is that indica or is that sativa, man? Because I only smoke indica. I mean, so the pretension ran deep, and I had a couple of friends who were dealers, and they're the ones who got me into trouble. And one of the cool things was, because I played in a band, everybody likes to be friends with the band, and everybody showers the band with, "Hey, dude, you're the guitar player. Come here, man. Let's go do a line, man. Let's go do a line." People always offer the band stuff. I don't know why, but hey, who was I to say no? I was, sadly, I'm just one of those people who never understood moderation. I would just keep going. Everybody else knew when to cool their jets. Not your brothers, though. I just kept going and going. And the stories I could tell you. I heard waking up in the bed of a pickup truck about 10 miles from where I last remember where I was, and I don't know whose pickup truck it is. I don't even know where I am. Stories like that. I've got a million of them. Crazy, just because your brother Zoe was always looking for that next freaking party. And getting high, I was a professional. At getting high. I'm embarrassed to say it now, but the strangest thing happened to me. And it almost seems bizarre. I ended my relationship with pot at 23 years old. At 23 years old one day, I woke up and I said to myself, "Self, you barely make any money. You can't even afford dog food for your dog. You're living on 17-cent. I'm not kidding you. I kid you not. I had 4 vehicles in my driveway. None of them ran. I had a 61 Ford Econoline van. It didn't run. I had a 72 Chevy El Camino. It didn't run. I had a 69 Chevy Impala, a Bel Air, in fact. It was a Bel Air, 3 on the tree. It didn't run. I'm thumbing to work every day. I'm barely making enough money to survive. Every penny I make goes to weed. goes to weed. I would come home at night and have no money, nothing for food, and I would go around to the trash cans and I would pick soda bottles. I'm freaking 22 years old, pulling soda bottles out of the trash can so I could turn them in at 7-Eleven, because at 7-Eleven, in 1979, you could buy a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese for 19 cents at 7-Eleven. And I lived on that shit. 7 nights a week, I lived on Kraft macaroni and cheese. And to this day, I can't eat that shit. I can't. You could put a big steaming bowl of it in front of me and I could be starving to death right now, but I could not. There's nothing you can do to make me eat Kraft macaroni and cheese today. Not going to happen. I had enough for all of us. I realized that I was spending everything on getting high. I'm like, this is stupid. I can't even afford guitar strings. You know, we barely have money to get from gig to gig. I'm going to quit smoking pot. And I did. I quit smoking pot, and the strangest thing happened. The strangest thing happened to me. I realized, and I'm freaking 23. I realized that I had been stripping myself of all my ambition. It really did strip me of my ambition. Because when I got stoned, all I wanted to do was lay around, watch a little TV, play a little guitar, nothing got done. Nothing got done. I never cleaned out my car. Not that my cars ran, but what I'm saying is, the minute I quit smoking pot, all of a sudden I had this unbridled energy. I grabbed a rake and I started raking the leaves of the front of my house. You know, we had this little rental house in Reseda, California, and the neighbors even came over to me and said, "Wow, what's gotten into you guys?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Well, all of a sudden you're cleaning the place up. I mean, it looks, don't get me wrong, it looks nice. We're really happy. What made you decide to do that?" And I just kind of said, I just kind of felt like it. But I started doing things. I started accomplishing things. I started writing songs. I mean, writing a lot of songs. I started fixing things. All the things I had that weren't working. I fixed my car. I had money because I wasn't spending every penny I had on weed. I eventually fixed some of my cars and could drive myself to work again. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I stayed that way for a long time. And I'll tell you this, the other band members got really pissy with me. Because, dude, you don't understand, man. When I get stoned, it brings out, my inhibitions. I let go. I'm able to play my drums better, man, when I'm stoned. I play better stoned, dude. You can stay straight if you want, but I play better stoned. And it was small fractures began to form in my rock band because I was the straight guy all of a sudden. It was weird. To this day, to this day, I don't, I've well matured in the last 40 years since I quit smoking pot morning, noon, and night. And, I don't have anything against it. If I am in a position somewhere, if I am in a place where I have no responsibility, I don't have to be somewhere, I won't have to pick somebody up in a aisle, I don't have anything bearing down on me. If I am in a position where I have just zero responsibility, once in a blue moon, I'll get stoned. And I got to tell you, holy smokes, the weed these days is just unreal. You can literally wave the bag in front of my face and I get a contact high. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I don't have anything against. I got a million friends who like to get stoned. I have a million friends who get stoned every day. I've got a handful of friends I know who still at my age get stoned all day. I mean, they're just in a position to do that. More power to them. If that's what floats your boat, baby, and you're able to pull that off, well, God bless America. Good for you. Right now I have so much responsibility. I mean, this past week, you wouldn't believe the ups and downs that I have been through. Every single piece of rented equipment on my project to make the project go further. All of our scissor lifts and snorkels and everything broke down. I know the guy no sooner finished something and drove away, and 5 minutes later another guy comes to me, "Hey man, that blue lift out front, that one just took a shit. It's not taking a charge." Call the guy back, "Dude, can you turn around?" I mean, here I am trying to go forward. It's a prevailing wage job, so I've got to get it done as quickly as humanly possible. And responsibility is a mother. It really is a mother. I couldn't afford to get stoned right now. I would fall flat on my face. So I just want to, I've got a million questions for you guys. I have a million questions for you guys as I think back about my career as a professional stoner. And I was as close to a professional stoner as you would ever meet. When I was 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, when I woke up in the morning, before my foot hit the carpet, before I stood up out of bed, I reached for the bong on my nightstand, and I roasted a big old bowl. I mean, getting stoned was that's all it was for me. There are so many questions I have for you. So many questions I have for you. Does anybody remember in the 70s, when you would go into a pot store, okay, a place that, now we didn't have obviously we did not have pot stores, okay? In California, Southern California, where I grew up, if you wanted to buy rolling papers or a new bong, you went to a store. The place we had was called Mind Your Head. Mind Your Head, okay? And all of them, in all the glass cases in front of all the different bongs of every incredible shape and size, there was a sign that said, "Tobacco pipes. These pipes are for tobacco. All of these water pipes are for tobacco." Okay. So the head shops of our day. Mind your head. Mind your head. But the coolest bong of all, if you could afford them, and they were like, I'm not kidding you, they were like $100, okay, were these 4 foot long, 4 feet tall glass pipes, pure clear glass, and they would, I got to draw them for you. So this was your classic 4 foot tall glass pipe, right? And going up the side were like hand painted, like roses and flowers and stuff. And what was so cool about the glass pipe, the glass bongs, is you could fill them with ice. We would fill them with ice all the way. So that when you got stoned, it was cool air coming into your, taking that nice cool hit of pot out of a $100 glass bong, and then oh my God, with all your buddies sitting around, 10 guys, we'd all sit around this table and pass the bong around, and man, if you were the jackass who broke Larry's bong, oh man. Yeah. Oh man, crazy. Those big old freaking bongs. It was like, that was the epitome of being cool, is if you could afford one of those giant 4 foot glass bongs. And we got creative back then. We got creative. My buddy invented, his dad was a machinist, and he invented a stem, and he I think he used like JB Weld or something. He made like JB Weld, and his dad made him this round, it was out of billet aluminum, and you could rotate it, you could click it. It went click. He had a little ball bearing on a spring, and it went click, 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 click. So instead of just one bowl, right, you could suck down one hit, and then you could click this thing, and there were 6 bowls going around the circle, and you could just click to the next one and smoke that one down if your lungs were big enough to do. So like the big thing was to see how many of these you could suck down, and if you were a real man, you could knock down 4 of these things, right? You could take 4 different I can't even believe I'm telling you guys these stories, because it is so, at this point in my life, it's so meaningless to me. But at the time it was so innovative. But the king of them all was one of my buddies. His dad had in his garage from the 1950s. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these, but they used to have these gas masks for like nuclear fallout in the 50s. In the 1950s, they sold everybody on there could be a nuclear war. What we did in Hiroshima could happen here in America. And people were building bomb shelters, right? People were building bomb shelters in their backyard, and they had gas masks. So my buddy had this giant freaking gas mask that was his dad's, and it had these big giant glass lenses that you could see through, and it was green, and it was huge, and it had these it had these removable filters on the front. Well, he plugged those off, and he somehow affixed a a down tube and a bowl to it. So we would put on this gas mask, and you would light the bowl for the guy. And the thing is, you had to breathe in. Even when you breathed out and breathed back in again, you're rebreathing the same pot stenched air over and over. There was no escape. If you had the helmet on, you were going for a ride. We eventually came up with a name for the thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like, we would jokingly, oh man, that guy needs to put on the helmet. That guy needs to put on the helmet. Oh God. We were so innovative in our being preposterous. Okay. We're going to take a short break here. I'm going to run outside and take a gaping Zard. But as soon as I get back, I want to know. I want to know from you guys. Oh, do I want to know? I want to know how old you were when you first got stoned. That's one of the first things I want to know. How old were you when you first got stoned? And back when you first started smoking pot, were you a bong person or a doobie person? That's something I want to know. I want to know if you remember shaking the stems and seeds out of your bag of weed with an album cover. Did you ever do that? These are the things that I want to know. These are the things that I want to know about my people. About my people. We'll be back immediately following this short video. Prepare to let I want to find out about you. It's about time I found out about you, don't you think? I want to know what kind of a stoner you really were. We'll be back right after this video. This is me in my Lincoln Continental, by the way. Riding along, listening to the Rasta.
You always run away.
I can't help but hope that my dear brother Belushi has just an extraordinary weekend. Have you heard that he's hooked up now with Rise Attire? Yes, he has. He's now carrying a complete line of Shibori men's underwear. Now, you can't get this anywhere else. This is exclusively through the lounge. Rise Attire Shibori men's underwear. Now, there was a rumor going around. I'm here to dispel the rumor. There was a rumor that Paul Pelosi's assailant was found wearing these. I'm here to tell you it's not true. But nonetheless, they are pretty impressive. And Belushi did his own photo shoot for these shots. So have a good look. They come in a plethora of colors. I invite you to support my dear brother Belushi. Buy his undies. It's time for Christmas. What better gift for the man who has everything than a pair of Belushi The Lounge Shibori men's tidy whities. I wonder if Belushi knows that I still have that video. I wonder if he knows that. Wait, where's my cursor? Where's my freaking cursor? Cursus! My cursor! By the way, These things cost me like $50. I put the lounge on there. These were the very underwear in that video. I understand they're big in San Francisco. You'll never see me wearing them, but I could see Belushi wearing them. I should mail him the damn thing. I really should mail them to him. I should mail them with a writing on the outside of the box that says, Belushi, you have to open this on the air, and see if he does it on his show. Okay. All right. Let's see if my phone works. Man, does my phone work. Okay, I'm going to put a number on the screen. Here it is. There it is. Plain as day. Plain as day. And what I want to know from you people, is, how old were you? How old were you when you first started smoking pot? It's just a very, how old were you when you first started smoking pot? And was it peer pressure? Who got you started? Who was the first person that got you stoned? Was it a relative? Was it kids from school? Who was it forced upon you? Were you like coerced? Were you coerced into smoking the very first time that you got stoned? That's what I want to know. Okay? Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know about you, you little stoner, you.
Access code.
What's going on here? What's happening here? Is my phone working?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey.
We have somebody on the line.
Yeah, what's the what did it say? Remote access code?
I have no idea. My phone, something strange is going on. Something strange is going on. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. Who do we have on the line?
Me.
Willie. You sounded so normal, Willie. I never would have guessed it was you.
13. I think we got some from my buddy's brother or something. No real pressure. We just wanted to try it. The first time we smoked cool cigarettes, we got high in a kite. From the nicotine, almost more than the dirt weed back then. But yeah, the bongs were later. I think it was the same thing. An older brother, one of my buddies, had one. But we were papers, or what they used to call them, 50-cent bowls, little pipes.
Yeah.
We even did apples and carrots and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The album cover, it was always to get rid of all the seeds from the, what we used to call Colombian or whatever.
Right,
There was one time they had
Lumbo.
Panama Red came around that was really rare, and that gold was really rare. And then Sesame, of course.
Right.
That came from, like you were talking about, the centerfold weed. Well, my buddy's dad was a lithographer for High Times Magazine, so we used to get centerfold weed back in high school.
You would get centerfold weed?
Yeah, and it was whatever, out of California, but we were kind of close to New York. He worked in New York, and that's we got it. That was like in, I don't know, like 81 or something.
Right. Right. So, you're not that far behind me.
Yeah.
Right.
A few years. But
13 years old the first time you got stoned.
yeah,
Wow.
I forget how I don't really remember the whole situation.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah, we used to always we were out fishing and, we had the bonfire. That's why our eyes were red. So we figured out what Visine was about. Why do you smell like smoke? Why do you smell? Oh, we had a fire because, to keep the bugs away.
Outstanding, Willie.
Surprised there was any firewood left in the neighborhood.
Are you doing okay, man? You sound so different than your normal self.
I'm just tired tonight. I did a lot of log splitting this week. I'm just tired.
Well, it's just a different Willie than my normal caller. Great to talk to you,
I haven't
man.
smoked any today.
Sounds good, my man.
Still enjoy some here and there, but I don't like the new shit at all, or that. I've tried some of that electric weed, whatever they call it, oil or something, and that shit is just, I don't know, it doesn't feel natural.
Dab or whatever.
We used to have joint-a-thons at school, In high school, we had a smoking area,
Yeah.
With cigarettes, whatever, but,
right.
We used to, pass joints around. We just smoked whatever, you had 10 people and you smoke 5-6 joints or something.
We called it a dope ring, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't. It was mellow stuff. The stuff that they have, some of the stuff they have nowadays, it's insane. It's like heroin weed or something.
We sat right in the middle of our football field at school in a big circle and just passed joints around in a circle over and over. This is at like 10 o'clock break in the morning, and we would get stoned at school. And there was one teacher who was like, he was like the cop, the school's police guy, he was the one, and everyone would say, "Oh, look, there he is." I can't remember his name. It was like Klinger or something like, "Oh, look, there he is, man. Hey, Willie, I got him ringing my phone off the hook, man. I appreciate the call,
yeah,
buddy."
It was a good time back then. One time we had that stuff that might have been, what you were calling that, angel dust.
Angel dust,
It was laced with something. We had, we called it stupid pot. It was only around for a while, and that was like, I don't know if it was that or opium was
Elephant tranquilizer is what it turned out to be. All right, my man.
All right,
we'll talk to you. Willie Fix-It right there. Boy, that is a different Willie Fix-It. I don't think I've ever heard Willie that restrained even. Welcome aboard the Mystery Ship. This is Floyd.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
What are you doing, brother? How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
All right, man. Floyd, I would imagine at some point in your life you probably smoked some pot, but I mean, you just, knowing you the way I know you now, you just don't strike me as a stoner.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I did try it 4 different times.
Really?
The first three were with friends when I was in high school.
Yeah.
The fourth one was actually the most surprising one. Now, to set this whole thing up, I had just got... have you ever heard of a place called Toshi's Teriyaki?
I can't say that I have.
Okay, it's a great teriyaki restaurant.
Oh, okay.
30 minutes before this particular situation happened, I had eaten some of the best teriyaki I've ever had, outside of Japan, I'd probably say. But I just got done eating. I get home, and this is before I joined the Marine Corps. About a year and a half before I joined the Marine Corps. The funniest part is, I just got done eating, just got done with work and everything else like that. I get home, my mom calls me upstairs. All my sisters, my brother, well, not my brother, but my oldest sisters and my mom were sitting in one of my sister's bedroom, and it smelled like, just absolute, well, to me it smells like absolute straight ass, but everybody knows the smell of weed. My mom calls me in. She hands me a blunt.
Wow.
My mother.
Wow, you got stoned with your mother?
Yep.
Wow.
That was the fourth time and the last time I ever did it.
Wow,
the
dude.
Part was,
that's
I
wild.
hit that thing like a champ. Because obviously, I'm not going to be the one that just falls out, right? But the weirdest part was, after I get done, 2-3 hits off of that blunt, I go sit down on the front porch. Unfortunately, that Toshi's teriyaki, as good as it was, it didn't stay in my stomach.
Oh no! It came back.
It came up. It went out, and I just fell asleep on the front porch, and I was like, nope, never again.
Oh, man.
Not ever touching that stuff again. And the funniest part is, my brother, who at that particular point in time was about 4 or 5 years old, no, he was older than that. He was about 7 or 8, actually. He told me when I retired from the military, he was going to get me high. Luckily, he moved, and he didn't realize that I retired about a year and 3 days ago from the military.
Wow.
So yeah, I haven't gotten high since, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want it, don't like it, don't need it. No, thank you.
Wow.
I can't even stand the smell of it now.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be a very special occasion for me to be able to sit down and get stoned. You know, I have to be in a place of zero responsibility. You know, absolutely nothing on my horizon, just because it's so stony. It just takes me to a place where I can't. I turn into a vegetable.
I can definitely understand that, but I mean, for me though, it just literally whatever I put in my stomach, my stomach will literally eject it immediately, and then I fall asleep. I don't get the munchies. I don't have no hallucinations. It's just whatever's in my stomach just comes right back out, and that's that. And then next thing you know, I wake up an hour or two, maybe 5 hours later, going,
"What happened?"
I just wasted
the whole day
much money on a bunch of food that I didn't get to really enjoy and digest.
I hear you, buddy. I absolutely hear you, dude.
I have a feeling. No, go ahead.
I got it. I just have to say you just don't strike me as the stoner type, man.
No, I mean, well, if you give me like my beer and my Johnny Walker Blue Label, and yes, I have 2 bottles of that, and I only take a shot, only 1 day a year.
Yeah.
And it's on my birthday. But yeah.
Yeah, you could be coerced into. Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. It's just not who I am anymore. You know, it's strange of me to remember back to when I was a full-time stoner all the time. I feel like I used to be somebody else. You know. Anyway, my man, I got them ringing my home phone. I'm gonna grab them while they're hot.
All right, there's no worries there, but I figure that's probably going to be the strangest story ever.
Yes, stoned with your mom the last time you got stoned. That's what the perfect end to that chapter, dude. Hey, always good to talk to you, my man.
All right, much love, brother. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Be good, my friend. All right.
You got it. Bye.
Let's see who we can tell. Somebody was ringing it hardcore. I'm going to see if I can get them through. I didn't realize I must have yacked my ass. Oh, I started late. That's what it is. I wondered where the show went. I looked up at it, and it's freaking 8 o'clock already. I'm like, wait, it's gone. It's gone. Welcome aboard the mystery ship. This is my friend Purple Pixie.
Hey.
How you doing, little lady? What is going on?
Oh God, lots has been going on for me.
You got a good story about the first time you ever got stoned? Who got you stoned?
Like a porno.
Who was it that got you stoned?
The guy that I lusted after in high school.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Imagine somebody like, I don't know. You know when, like, the high school movies, somebody that's really, really shy that doesn't do anything? That was me, okay? I saw this guy, and I swear to God, he looked like Prince. He wasn't black by any means. And he was Italian, and he had like this curly hair, tan skin, blue motherfucking eyes, and he just had this Prince aura about him, right? Fell in love with him instantly. And as shy as I was, I actually went up and I met him.
Once you were around him, you were just able to open up?
It wasn't about opening up. It was just like, I really, really like this dude. And I was like, and sex was like a forbidden subject in my house because I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
But the hormones were raging. You know what I mean?
So he got you stoned for the first time?
Okay, so hang on. We're in high school. Blah, 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 blah. And we didn't hook up until out of high school. I was 19. And we were in the same refrigerator somewhere, and we reconnected our friendship. And, yeah, we went and seen a movie and ended up going back to his house where he lives with his parents. But his room was like out. It was kind of like it's really kind of hard to explain. But it was a room outside of the garage, but it was a room. It was fully finished and everything like that. So I took him home, and, yeah, we had sex, and we got high that day. Holy motherfucking shit. I did two things at once at 19 that I have never done in my life. That was awesome. And I'll tell you what. I will tell you what. This man, even though we had that brief moment that, I know he just wanted to take my virginity, but I wanted to give it to him because I was like in so awe of him because it was like, yeah.
Wow.
Sex is forbidden. Let me feel those forbidden fruits.
Those are dirty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, after all that happened, as I got older and I grew up, I was in Southern California because this is in Northern California. He was still my friend, and I would tell him about these guys that I was dating. And he'd tell me what I needed to do. And I'm like, dude, cool. We've remained friends for the longest time. So I didn't feel used from him, and I can tell you the exact song I lost my virginity to.
Wow.
You ready for this?
Led Zeppelin.
Nope.
What was it?
Hang on. I know the song. Aerosmith.
Aerosmith.
He's an angel.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Wow. Yep. That was the song I lost my virginity to.
And all because you got stoned?
Oh, yeah. And the only reason that I had to tell my parents about it, this is the fucked up thing right here, is that when we were in high school, I asked my mom if I could, go to Sadie Hawkins. And like I said, we were Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Yeah.
It was only if it's a witness. And this guy, I didn't know he was a witness. When he almost slammed me. I mean, we didn't know each other at the time, and this is when I first saw him.
Yeah.
I was coming into a door, and the door he was coming out of almost hit me right in the face. And I saw him, and I was like, oh, my God, dreamboat. Well, I was at the Kingdom Hall one night. Him, his mom, his sister, and his brother came in. And I asked him, but he said, I would love to go with you, but somebody already asked me. So 5 steps forward out of high school, we fucked, we smoked, and yeah. Oh, my God. I don't regret a minute of my life back then.
Pop goes the weasel, as
I'll tell you what. I was really, really into Adamant before I went into Prince. But once I was into Prince and I met this man, oh, Jesus Christ. And my younger sister, who was murdered years ago, she told me, Leah, you dodged a bullet because he's fat and bald. I was like, oh, my God.
All right, kid.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate your story.
I know you got more people calling.
We're going to move along.
You know what?
Thank you, darling. Thank you,
You're
kindly.
welcome. Love you, babe.
Love you, too.
Bye.
Bye. I'm trying to figure out what is going on with the freaking fuzzy? Where the hell is that coming from? That bacon frying drives me crazy. All right. I'm going to have to look into that. It's enough to piss off the Pope right there. All right. It has, here we go. We got one more call to round off the night. One more call. Here we go. Spudley himself. Brother Spud, what is going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on, Broham? What's the topic? Getting high at an early age? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. Fill me in. I'm sitting on my fucking porch. I don't know.
Are you?
No. Hey! What?
Who? Spud, who was it that did it to you?
Well, it was my siblings. I was 12 years old.
You were 12?
The first time I smoked pot in earnest.
You're kidding me.
No, I was regularly smoking pot like 2 or 3 times a week at least.
At 12 years old?
No, at 15. But the first time I smoked pot was 12.
Okay.
And it was 1978, and we were watching. My parents were out of town. I think they were in Las Vegas.
Wow.
And my sister was 8 years older than me. She was married. And my brother, who's 6 years older than me, they got me high watching Saturday Night Live in like 1978. It was pretty funny. It was one of the original ones. But I didn't really get high the first time. And then they wanted to put me on my bike. We lived in Orange, and make me ride like 10 blocks to Winchell's Donuts to buy everybody donuts, and I refused to do it because I wasn't high. I wasn't stupid, and they would have done that to me too. That's my older brothers and sisters, right? The brother, sister, and brother-in-law.
Wow.
By the way,
wow,
would have just sent me down the river. But fortunately, I didn't get high the first time. I smoked. It was I don't even know. I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't either. I didn't get high either the first time, and I remember saying to myself, so what's the big deal? But the second time, wow, yeah, made a big difference. Big difference.
Well, yeah, and I mean, by the time I was, it was pretty. My mom couldn't smoke pot at all. It made her sick. You shouldn't like it at all. Me and my dad, when I was in college, we lived in a place in Yorba Linda. In the third bedroom, we grew indoor pot with halogen lights.
Wait, and your dad?
Yeah.
So you have gotten high with your dad?
Oh, well, yeah.
For me, this is so. I mean, I know time changed from the time I was, of pot smoking age. My dad was just the epitome of, he would never, ever, not in a minute, never happen. Never going to happen.
Well, my dad just hasn't smoked pot in a long time, but he used to. I mean, back in the day, he did. And, he's, his late 80s at this point. He doesn't smoke dope. He just does that, I don't know. He lives in the tropics, so he just does that, like...
That's right, you told me.
Life.
Yeah.
He lives in the Philippines, yeah.
Right. Good for him.
My dad. Well, yeah, I mean, who would have thought? But, I mean, who would have thought? But, for me, pot was, by the time I was in high school, it was an everyday sort of thing. Not necessarily that I would be stoned every day or in the day, but it would be something that it would be on my mind in one way or another, in the fact that I had, you get connected, and you talked about that. You get connected in a way where, and it goes to a conclusion. Like, this is completely unrelated. Today, there was a conversation that reminded me of a conversation that took back, like, hey, but how did you end up hanging out with carnies? And the reason I ended up hanging out with carnies is because of meth. It's like, well, did you sell carnies meth? And it's like, no, I didn't sell carnies meth. But carnies wanted weight in meth, and I never touched weight in anything like that. But I could connect them with people that did deal with that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's much later, and obviously, I mean, I stopped doing that kind of thing later, but I have, like, family that was, you know, connected in that sort of way.
Wow.
Where you would, where you would make a commission, you never touch anything. You don't touch anything. All you do, so say you're a carny worker. You're traveling through the Central Valley of California, up to Oregon, through Washington, Idaho, and you're talking about the 80s here, and late 80s, early 90s, you have the ability to bring a commodity that you could charge X amount for, that you could potentially get at a much cheaper price, and you could supply yourself if you were a tweaker. And the reason why you were working on terrible rides is because you were a tweaker. So if you knew somebody that was connected to that sort of a world, that's why everything is corrupt. That's how I know everything is corrupt. Because I've been a part of that kind of corruption. I know exactly what it is, where it is.
Even the carnies are out there making money on it.
Well, I don't know that there's many parties anymore, but back in the day, you know the culture that was really fun.
100.
Well, they're the same guy. I was a theater guy, which meant that I was trained in technical theater, which meant I could get gigs, technical theater gigs. Now, a lot of the guys that got gigs hauling decking, you know what decking is when you're talking about a concert, right?
Yeah.
It's the stuff you make the stage out of. Sure. It's the base thing that you get base wage for doing when you're working tech in theater is moving decking. And a lot of these same guys that move decking are the same guys that do these carny things. And you just end up meeting these people. It's a weird world out there. I wish I was more isolated from it, but I'm glad that it gave me kind of a view into that life.
Hey, it's a piece of who you are, man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, anyway.
Spudley, I love the call, my friend. Thank you. Thank
All
you
right,
kindly
buddy.
for joining us. All right.
Oh,
be good. TL Spud right there. Man, I have to say this. I think I would have loved to have turned my old man onto pot. I mean, for a guy who is just so if I could have just gotten him to try it just once. Dad, come on, let your hair down, experience this, tell me what you really think. I wonder. I really wonder, because he came from the world where everything he knew about it was negative, negative, negative. God forbid that there should be a positive end to it. But, I don't regret anything about the years I spent, stoned morning, noon, and night. They weren't my most productive years, I can tell you that. But, what the hell? It was fun. We're going to get out of here, folks. We're going to get out of here. Hey, tomorrow, where's my connection? And I've got to find out what's going on with this. I really have to find out what's going on with my phone, because that bacon frying drives me freaking crazy. Crazy. Tomorrow, people, a couple of exciting things going on. We're going to have the Foxhole Squares tomorrow evening. I am the host of the Foxhole Squares. Let me tell you who the guests are going to be. We are going to have Paul Thaddeus, Red Pill Ken. Red Pill Ken. And it was going to be Geneseppi. It looks like Geneseppi will not be joining us. Not quite sure who's going to step up to the plate, but we will have a third guest, a third surprise guest, and it will be fun. It will be fun. Coming up, Purple Pixie will be joining us on May 3rd, along with Uncensored Abe and Maga Punch Ryan. May 10th, we've got Flip City Christie. We got Toot Sweet and Spaz O Yeti. Then, May 17th, we got Holy Moly, Video Demon Slayer, and Lady Deep Music. May 24th, the return of Lori 17, a wonderful woman with a wonderful program. Raid on Antifa and Q&A hole. Man, I'm having some serious upset stomach right now. Wow. I got the fire down below. Woo! I'm going to have to go in and hit the Tums, baby. Go in and hit the Tums. I'm going to end it right here, people. I'm going to end it right here. I want to thank, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, the wonderful people who donated to this show tonight. God bless you. Thank you, Safety Net. Thank you, Due Diligence. Thank you, Gold and Crisp. You are phenomenally wonderful. Just out of this world, freaking groovy. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And you're one in a million. 1 in a million. All of you. All of you. I'm releasing the scratch-in right now. There it is. It is hereby released. Go and get you some. Go and get you some. It's going to be a good time, I'm telling you. Over here in Lemon Land, some wonderful folks, and I appreciate them to no end. We're going to give away some lemons. Let's see what I can do here. Let's see what I can do. We can do that. Because I need to turn in my lemons. I think I need to turn them in tonight by midnight. Anyway, here come the lemons. Here they come. At least it's a little something, okay? It's a little something. I got to save something for myself. I've given away like 2,000 lemons in the last couple of weeks, and I'm going the wrong way. So, but I got to give something away. So, I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so very much for joining me aboard the Mystery Ship. I hope you think back to the time when you very first got stoned. I would love to have heard from people who got stoned with their mom and dad. That would be, I just don't know if I could, wow, that would just never happen for me. Never happen. It could have been so cool. Never happened. And I guess that's just one pipe dream I'm going to have to wave goodbye to. Wave goodbye to it. Due Diligence. Nice little haul there. Willie Fixit did well for himself. Look at that. Wonderful. Good for you, Empress. Nice little haul there, people. I ought to try it. Let me give it a try. Well, come on. Give me a little something. Where's my, here it is. Here's my scratch. And, hey, I got 9 of them. That's damn good for me. Bad Zoot on top of the heap. Syllabor, Lynn Winters, Black Cat, good to see you. And Jayla, of course. Wow, freaking cool. All right, I will see you tomorrow during the day. I'll be doing my rock show. Going to go a little early tomorrow. Going to surprise you guys. I'm going to go a little early, so don't be surprised when you see me rocking early. I've got a soccer game to go to. My grandson has a game at, I believe, 12:30, so it means in order for me to do a 4-hour show, I'm going to be starting earlier than normal. It'll be perfect for those East Coasters. For you West Coasters, just pour a cup of coffee and join me, okay? It'll be fun. I look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. I really do. And with that, I bid you a fond farewell. Good night, my friends. Be good out there. Love one another. And we'll see you on the flip side. Okay? Tomorrow will be a big, exciting day. And I look forward to spending some time with you. Good night, my friends.